President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks keep getting stranger by the day, which may be the point.
Well, I thought it was the worst cabinet-level appointment in history until they then heard about the Matt Gaetz.
During part one of Lessons of the Mueller report, we brought in John Dean to re-examine the Nixon impeachment. Perhaps during part two, we'll get to the impeachment of Andrew Johnson.
Representative Matt Gaetz for Attorney General? Gaetz, the right-wing shit-stirrer who was being investigated by the House Ethics Committee for allegations of sexual misconduct. Which, now that he has resigned his position in the House, it's most likely the ethics report will never see the light of day unless someone leaks the report to the press. Now, with the amount of people, even in his own party, who hate him, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I wish it was about the Mueller report. I really wish it was, Mr. Johnson. There won't know anything about the Mueller report.
Really, my reaction was that this is like the legend of Caligula, the Roman emperor, who wanted to nominate his horse as a Roman consul.
But the president is smart enough and his team is smart enough to know that Mr. Gaetz will never get confirmed by the Senate.
I was shocked that he has been nominated.
A lot of Republicans are concerned about a number of things that Matt Gaetz has said or done over the years. His efforts to try to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker, successful efforts in leading that charge. The fact that he's facing a House ethics investigation into sexual misconduct, something that he denies, as well as his defense of Donald Trump in the aftermath of January 6th, and it really goes down the line.
I'm having trouble.
What about Matt Gaetz?
You support him? We have a confirmation process.
I don't know yet. I have to think about that.
Do you have any concerns about it?
We'll see.
Do you think Matt Gaetz is confirmable?
We'll find out, won't we?
Senator Kennedy, what do you think of Matt Gaetz as Attorney General?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Then there's Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense, a weekend Fox News host who served in the Army National Guard, a pick that came so far out of left field that even Republican senators were stunned by the news. Even a former Fox News colleague of Hegseth was quoted by Rolling Stone on Tuesday to say, "What the real fuck?" Hegseth is a decorated Army National Guard veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. However, he has little management experience that would qualify him to run the Pentagon. He previously led a small veterans group in a PAC that was accused of cronyism and misspending. Pete has no government experience and has been working for Fox since 2014.
I don't think I've washed my hands for 10 years. Really, I don't really wash my hands ever.
Help me! Any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever, that was involved in any of the DEI woke, it's got to go.
Don't seem to have any specific experience on defense policy or DoD policy, and that's concerning.
First is Pete Hegseth. Trump choosing him, the Fox News host, Pete Hegseth, for defense secretary. What do you think?
I'm shocked, truly, and this is exactly what we worried about and we warned about Donald Trump, which is that he is going to appoint unqualified loyalists to shape this government into his own personal fiefdom and get revenge on generals and put essentially really unqualified people. I appreciate Mr. Hegseth's service in our armed forces, but being a serviceman, it does not make you qualified to lead the Department of Defense and to have access to our nuclear weapons. I'm very disturbed by this, and I'm very concerned about what it demonstrates about Donald Trump's priorities, which now seem to be coming true, as many of us warned.
I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. And then, whatever the standards, whatever the combat standards were, say, in, 1995, let's just make those the standards.
I have friends who've texted me who are not very political saying, I'm coming to Washington, D.C. today because I can't handle what's happening in my country.
These folks on the lawn, and there were more than I'd ever seen. These are not conspiracy theorists motivated just by lies. That's a bunch of nonsense that people want to tell us. These are people that understand first principles. They love freedom and they love free markets.
And last but not least, there's Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence. Former Democratic Congresswoman who has expressed sympathy for Russia. She has also been showing ever more signs of just being a grifter who will do or say anything to stay relevant in the political sphere. With this appointment, Tulsi will get that relevance, and money, and power. But just like Gaetz and Pete, we'll see how far all three get in these roles. considering how truly unqualified and incompetent they all are.
After the former Democratic Congresswoman turned Republican would be tapped for the Director of National Intelligence role, and just here in the last moments, that's exactly what happened. Donald Trump announcing that Tulsi Gabbard will take the reins, if confirmed by the U.S. Senate, of the office of the Director of National Intelligence. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard, of course, is somebody who rose to prominence back in 2017 when she took a secret trip to Syria to meet with President Bashar al-Assad. At the time, he was alleged to have ordered the killings of hundreds of thousands of Syrian civilians. It was a trip that was repudiated by Democrats and Republicans alike at the time that ultimately the U.S. was determining how it would engage and respond to the killings of civilians. And in the aftermath of that, she was hesitant to call him a dictator and was hesitant to condemn him for the actions that were taking place in Syria. Ultimately, she ran for president in 2019 as a Democrat. She was somebody that irked a great many other Democrats on that stage, taking on memorably then Senator Kamala Harris. Ultimately, in the aftermath of the 2020 election, she ended up going and making her presence on Fox News routine before becoming a close ally of Tucker Carlson, and somebody who then closely aligned herself with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. before just a couple weeks ago at a campaign rally that I was at in Michigan, going up on stage and declaring that she was now officially a member of the Republican Party because of Donald Trump and had sought to play a key role in his administration.
Gabbard is now the president-elect's pick to be Director of National Intelligence. But on the trail in New Hampshire, she was highly critical of Trump's handling of foreign policy. She condemned the strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani.
Trump has committed an act of war. He has pushed our country into a state of war with Iran, a war that will prove to be far more devastating and costly than anything that we saw with the war in Iraq or the war in Afghanistan. It'll make those wars look like a picnic.
Would you characterize this as an assassination? What happened?
Yes.
It is unacceptable in my mind, the action that this Trump administration has taken in reneging and breaking our role in the Iran nuclear agreement when Iran is complying with the agreement.
Thanks again for watching, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps.